Have you ever met someone who drains your energy or leaves you feeling strangely off after spending time with them? Carl Jung believed that certain types of people aren't just unpleasant, they can be dangerous to your mental and emotional health. In this video, we'll break down 6 specific personalities you must avoid. Each one reveals a deeper psychological truth Jung uncovered, and knowing how to spot them can protect your peace and help you grow stronger from within. 1. The Shadow-Denier. Carl Jung believed that every person carries a shadow, the hidden side of our personality that holds the parts we're ashamed of, like anger, envy, fear, or selfishness. But the Shadow-Denier is someone who absolutely refuses to admit they have any of this inside them. In their mind, they're always kind, always reasonable, always the victim, and never at fault. Instead of facing their flaws, they push them outward. If they feel jealous, they'll accuse you of being too competitive. If they're angry, suddenly you're the one being rude or aggressive. They twist situations to protect their image and avoid the hard work of self-reflection. These people are dangerous because they force you to carry the weight of their unacknowledged emotions. Over time, you might find yourself constantly apologizing, questioning your behavior, or feeling anxious around them. You start shrinking yourself to avoid setting them off. They can't grow because they won't admit what's broken. And if you're not careful, you'll get stuck in their illusion, losing touch with your own truth. The best protection? Stay conscious. 2. The Manipulative Empath. At first glance, the manipulative empath seems kind, caring, and deeply understanding. They listen well, offer emotional support, and may even seem spiritually aware. But Carl Jung would warn us, not all empathy is genuine. When empathy becomes a tool for control, it turns into something dangerous. These individuals often help others not out of love, but out of a deep need to feel needed, or to keep control over relationships. They may go out of their way to do things for you, only to remind you of it later. They might say things like, "After all I've done for you," or "You're making me feel so hurt," whenever you try to express your needs or set boundaries. What makes them truly dangerous is that their manipulation is wrapped in kindness. They use guilt instead of force. And because they seem so sensitive and well-meaning, you hesitate to push back, even when you feel suffocated. Jung would say this behavior stems from a lack of self-awareness. They haven't explored the deeper motivations behind their actions. Their help often hides their own insecurity or fear of abandonment. 3. The Persona Addict. Carl Jung described the persona as the mask we wear to function in society, the version of ourselves we show to the world. It helps us play roles like parent, friend, employee, or leader. But the danger comes when someone becomes addicted to that mask, when their entire identity is built on how they appear, not who they really are. The persona addict is obsessed with image. They always want to look successful, happy, or morally superior, even when their inner world is falling apart. They avoid vulnerability at all costs because showing their real self feels like weakness. They'd rather lie, exaggerate, or manipulate to protect the illusion they've created. You'll notice they rarely admit mistakes. They're quick to blame others, and they constantly seek praise or approval. Being around them can feel like walking into a performance, where you're not sure what's real anymore. The danger? Their relationships are shallow, built on image, not intimacy, and if you threaten their mask by getting too close or calling out the truth, they'll often turn cold, distant, or even aggressive. 4. The Energy Vampire. The energy vampire doesn't bite your neck, but they do drain your spirit. Carl Jung didn't use the term energy vampire, but he understood the concept well. These are people who haven't processed their inner pain, so they constantly seek others to absorb it for them. They always have a crisis. They always need something. They gossip, complain, or stir drama, not to solve problems, but to stay in a cycle of emotional chaos. At first, you may feel compassion, but soon you'll notice that every interaction leaves you feeling tired, anxious, or emotionally heavy. The real danger: They don't actually want healing. Healing would take away the attention, the pity, the emotional grip they have on others. Jung would say they're trapped in their unconscious, projecting their wounds outward instead of facing them within. These people often blur the lines between friendship and therapy. You might find yourself constantly giving, listening, or fixing until there's nothing left to give. To protect yourself, set clear emotional boundaries. You can care without carrying. 5. The unconscious shadow mirror. Some people don't hurt you directly, but they trigger something deep inside you. You might feel irritated by them, jealous of them, or even strangely obsessed, and you don't fully understand why. Carl Jung would say, pay attention. This person may be an unconscious shadow mirror, reflecting back a part of yourself that you haven't fully accepted. Maybe they're bold, and you were taught to play small. Maybe they're emotional, and you've been taught to stay controlled. The traits in them that bother you the most often reveal what you've repressed in yourself. That's why they're dangerous, not because they're bad, but because your unconscious reaction can damage your peace, your relationships, or even your self-image. You might gossip about them, compete with them, or try to avoid them entirely, all without realizing the trigger lies within you. Jung believed that everything that irritates us in others can guide us towards self-understanding, but only if we're honest enough to look inward. The gift in this danger. If you stay curious instead of reactive, you can discover a missing piece of your own wholeness. Instead of blaming the mirror, learn from the reflection. 6. The Synchronicity Blocker. Carl Jung believed in synchronicity, those meaningful coincidences that guide us, like signs from the deeper self. When we're in tune with our inner world, life seems to flow. Ideas click, paths open, and intuition feels strong. But some people seem to block that flow completely. These are the synchronicity blockers. When you're around them, you feel confused, scattered, or disconnected from your own inner voice. You second-guess your decisions. You feel stuck in small talk or low energy. Over time, your clarity fades, and life starts to feel heavy, like you're swimming against the current. They may not be toxic in an obvious way, but their energy is misaligned with your growth. They pull you into doubt, fear, or a state of emotional noise that clouds your connection to something deeper. Jung would say your psyche is always trying to guide you, but being near the wrong people can drown out that signal. These individuals distract you from your path not with malice, but simply by being disconnected from their own. To protect your synchronicity, guard your energy. Spend time with people who make you feel more like yourself, not less. That's it for today. 6 dangerous types of people Carl Jung warned us to avoid. If you've encountered any of these or learned something new, share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more insights on psychology and self-growth. Your support helps the channel grow and keeps the conversation going. Take care and keep evolving.